Ageism. It's alive and well today. I've got 4 stories for you from people who have experienced ageism pretty recently. And it's not looking good, guys. It's alive and well. My own experience with that, it wasn't so much about getting a job. It was trying to get a job at my previous salary. I went from $75,000 in 2010. Next job was around 70. Next one was around 68, I believe. Last one was, can't remember, 63 or 65,000. So that was my experience with ageism. I have a friend who's been looking for probably 3 years. He works in IT. He's in his late 50s. He's looking for another job. Can't get one. Can't get one. So yeah, it's out there. Leave me some comments, guys. Have any of you had the experience of ageism recently, in the past? Have friends that are going through that right now, or yourself maybe? Anyway, here are those 4 stories for you. And I apologize, but I'll be looking up and down, reading on this. So don't get mad at me. Don't throw the phone down. Here's number 1. This is a woman, 52 years old. She worked at a social media company. Now, this one's kind of sad. Or, yeah, I guess you'd call it sad. Her daughter sent her some flowers for her 50th birthday to arrive at work. Unknown to her, her coworkers didn't know her actual age. So after she got these flowers delivered to her, say, "Hey, happy 50th." She got some coworkers start treating her differently. It's like, "Hey, you look so young for your age. How do you keep your skin looking so good?" Guess what that did? Big projects started coming up. Uh-oh. They're after me. Okay, they're going past. Big projects started coming up that she used to head. She was head of a department for some clients, for projects. These projects started being given to a 29-year-old to head instead of her after she received these happy 50 birthday balloons. Yeah, it kept happening, and it kept happening until she finally quit. Sad, but that's a good example of it right there. She didn't look her age, but then here come those balloons. Thanks, honey. Hey, if you guys are looking at me for the first time, my name is Duane, and this is a channel for retiring on moderate income. If you think you might like that, think about subscribing and like the video as well. Number 2, from Storytime with Uncle Duane. Here's a man, 55 years old. He was an award-winning, dare I say award-winning, creative at an advertising agency. He was extremely well compensated, but he was forced out at 55 because of his high salary. His quote, "My salary was just too high, and their client budget just got cut." So he's actually kind of philosophical about it. He goes, "I understand why they did it." But here's another thing he said, and I don't know if I'd agree with this, a little controversial, but he said he wasn't in a protected class of citizens either, being a white male over 50. Okay? You can take that or leave that, however you want to. One day he just noticed he wasn't being invited to client meetings anymore. Not good. An award-winning employee, not invited to client meetings anymore. He was eventually laid off. I got all these stories from LinkedIn, by the way. Here's number 3. Here's a man, 56 years old. He was downsized from a senior management role in IT. When he mentioned it, listen to this, guys. Listen to this. When he mentioned it, he thought it was because of his age. He mentioned this to his bosses. Suddenly, his severance package became much bigger. They were basically paying him to keep his mouth shut. He has since interviewed with 50 companies over the phone. He gets interviews. He says once he goes in and meets the hiring manager, he sees their eyes drop in the interviews once they recognize how old he is. Classic example of ageism right there. Hey, you could be a great interview. Over the phone, you're doing great. Once they see you in person, maybe not so much. Now, I didn't really have a problem with this because if whenever I shave, you guys haven't seen me completely clean shaven. I still look pretty young for my age. What was it? The last job I was at, people assumed I was like late 30s, early 40s. So I haven't dealt with that, luckily for me, as far as going into an interview and people automatically going, oh God, here we go. We got an old guy. But man, I'm telling you, ageism comes at you in different ways. Mine was more of a salary. My salary kept dropping and dropping and dropping once I got laid off in 2010. Other people, it might be interviews, where they get the phone interview. Here we go. Man, again, I wish I could show you guys this, but they come over and they're gone so quick, you wouldn't even see them. Anyway, for other people, it's, over the phone interviews where they're great. And then they get before a hiring manager and they can just see in their eyes, yeah, this wasn't what I expected. Also, you've got just plain ageism when, you're in society, people treating you differently, right? It just happens. Ageism is alive and well these days, guys. It's alive and well. So, number 4. Here is a man, 55 plus, it says, doesn't give his actual age. He got laid off from a bank. Now, what he found out, it doesn't say how he found this out, but he found out that 0% of the people that were laid off were under 30 years old. 100% of the people laid off were over 55. Yikes. He lives in a college town, notorious for age discrimination. He hasn't been able to find a job, some local job, for over a decade. Now, it doesn't say what kind of job this guy was looking for. I mean, he worked at a bank, okay? Sometimes when you get to that position, if you can't find the kind of job you had before or the salary, you just have to settle. Just like I've been talking throughout this video. Did I want to cut my salary from over the course of 8 years, let's say, 75,000 down to it was either 63 or 65, my last job before I retired? No, but guys, here's the thing about ageism, okay? It might not be easy for you to get a job at your current salary or at your previous title. Sometimes you just got to settle. Like this guy, can't get a job in over a decade at his college, in his college town. Well, what is he looking for? Unfortunately, that might be one of the things you have to do. You might have to compromise. In my case, I compromised all the way down $10,000 plus in 8 years. I could still pay my bills. I wasn't saving as much as I wanted to. I still had a high, contribution rate to my 401k, about 23, 25% the last 3-4 years before I retired. But if I had a bigger salary, it would have been more money. Sometimes, unfortunately, with ageism, you got to make the tough choices. Do I want to keep paying the bills? Here come the cops again. Man, I don't think they like me talking about ageism. Probably young cops. Sometimes you just got to compromise, guys. You just got to bite the bullet and say, do I want to keep working? Or you might be at a point where you don't want to work anymore. After a couple years of working and you're in your late 50s, early 60s, you might not want to work anymore. You don't want to go through the whole hassle of looking for these jobs and being disappointed. Should I run? Anyway, that's what I got for you guys. So ageism. Yes, it is alive and well in today's day. It is alive and well. Is there any way to get around this? You can, prep your resume to make it look like you're not as old as you are. That can get you a foot in the door. But when it comes to interviews, especially face-to-face interviews, hey man, just give it your best shot. It's all you can do. You know, what are you going to do? Wear pancake makeup and look like 20 years younger? No. Give it your best shot. If it works out, it works out. If not, you may either have to compromise, or ultimately, if you've got enough money and you're just not quite ready to retire, you might just have to retire. Come on, man. Jump in the water. It's fine. Retirement's a great thing. So there you go from the lovely high desert. We got this.